Today's First Alert afternoon weather update is brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.
Good Friday afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Stone Schaefer here, live from the First Alert digital desk for our First Alert weather live stream here at 2 p.m. Again, you can catch us on Roku TV, Apple TV, on our website at wnem.com/livestream, also on our Facebook and YouTube page. I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. As always, if you have any questions, head over to our Facebook page at WNEM TV5 News. There, I'll be trying to answer as many questions as we get. Obviously, if I do miss your question, I apologize. Sometimes I just don't get to look over there as much as I want to, but I will try my best to answer those questions. Now, we take a look outside right now as we look across the region. It's been a decently nice day. Temperatures are on the cooler side. We're seeing that smoke leave us with the help of a northeast wind. Now, I will say it's not long-term relief from that smoke, but it's enough that we should have a pretty enjoyable afternoon if we can just dodge any more smoke that rolls in a little bit later in the day. Now, as we look out at Mount Pleasant, what we see here is not very much. Again, you have quiet skies, maybe some light clouds. I think it's definitely a little bit hazy there in Mount Pleasant right now, but we'll continue to see how things play out through the rest of the day. Again, we do have more wildfire smoke that's going to try to move itself back into the region later into the day, and then obviously give us a smoky afternoon for tonight. Real quickly, trying to fix something with one of our cameras. This is being a little weird. Once I get that back fixed, here we go. I got that fixed while we're looking at Mount Pleasant, and then we take a look outside at our US 10 camera there, and a similar outlook. You just have these light fluffy clouds that have built themselves in, and you're looking at maybe a little bit of haze, not as much blue in the sky in that area, and that's just because of that wildfire smoke across the region right now. In terms of air qualities, though, we have had some improvement across the region. We can see we do have areas in that moderate once again. So that's a good improvement. We were in the unhealthy for sensitive groups in many areas. As we look up to the north, I know a lot of people have plans across the region today, especially going up north to maybe get out there and have a nice weekend. You see moderate out towards Holton Lake, towards Manistee in that moderate rating, and holding on to that moderate rating into the UP, other than just right through the central portions of the UP have already started to get that sort of secondary wave of smoke that is going to roll in this weekend. So you are seeing areas out there towards Marquette and into the central parts of the state are getting into that unhealthy to unhealthy for sensitive groups. So definitely not that great up there if you're heading that far north for the weekend. Now, air quality alerts have now been extended through Saturday night. This is going to be through Saturday night. Wouldn't surprise me if they get extended to Sunday as we continue to see, again, more smoke roll in. When we look at our surface smoke model here, we can see we actually look to be relatively decent. There's still some light smoke, but not as heavy as what we had Wednesday or Thursday. By the time we're waking up those Saturdays, some areas to the far north are going to start to see that smoke. Then as we get into the afternoon Saturdays, when we get that sort of heavier band of smoke rolling in from the north. So again, if you're someone that's sensitive, you're just going to have to be fighting off some of that smoke once again into Saturday. And our models don't go out far enough into Sunday to give us an idea of what we're going to see. But most likely a pattern looks to hold through the weekend as high pressure moves in from Canada across the northern portions. Actually, you do see that on our vertical profile for smoke. Now again, this is up in the atmosphere. That previous outlook was at the surface. So this is showing really how heavy it's going to be, and you can see that system move itself in, that sort of rotation north of us. That is that area that is helping keep that smoke in the portions of really all of the northern United States as it just continues to move in smoke from Canadian wildfires. And the latest update I saw yesterday was there are right now 300 wildfires back on fire in Canada. So we actually got pretty lucky there for a while. They had some rain, they weren't as dry. So even when thunderstorms moved through, they didn't start any more fires. But then they got back on a dry period, and that has helped reignite some of those fires, maybe restart some of the fires that were maybe burning just under the surface. That's what happens in the winter there, is a lot of these fires continue burning through the winter under the snow and under the ground. And then when that snow melts, it starts the fires right back up. So luckily we had that spree there. We didn't have to deal with it, but it has restarted here over the last couple of weeks, and with the setup we've had in the atmosphere with high pressure and then just a ridge that built itself in last week, that helps set us up where more of that wildfire smoke gets transported back into Michigan. Now, looking at our sky tracker, not much to see here. It's quiet skies across the land. You do see some light clouds trying to develop, mostly around the bay, but really are starting to travel now south into Lansing and then probably farther south than that. So you're definitely seeing those light fluffy clouds out there. Some would call them popcorn clouds developing. You will see the sun though. It's just you see it between the clouds or the haze. You're definitely not going to see those blue skies as you're getting out and about here on this Friday. Temperatures across the board are mostly in the 70s. Still have a few more degrees to go for our highs today, but we do have Clare at 76, Saginaw at 75, Flint also at 73 with Lapeer at 75. Just many areas upper 60s to the mid 70s right now. That northeast wind may be keeping some areas along the shoreline just a bit colder. Not by much though. Port Sanilac at 69, one of the cooler areas we have. Highs for today though, again, show we still have a few more degrees to go. There will be areas that get to those upper 70s, areas like Midland at 78, Mount Pleasant 78, Clare at 77, Gladwin also at 78 through this afternoon. So I would say probably expect your highs right around 4 to 5 p.m. Then we'll start to cool off tonight. I know we had some areas last night that got into the 40s, so sort of fall-like temperatures for the first football game of the season. I know it didn't go that well for the Lions. Lots of turnover issues for that first preseason game. Hopefully they can get that fixed. A lot of backups, obviously, in the field. Carol says, beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. Again, we've been lucky that smoke has moved out, so it's leading to a pretty nice day here across the region. Obviously, more smoke rolls in for Saturday. And then dew points are not nearly as bad as early in the week. You probably sound like a broken record if you watched the previous few days' streams, because our dew points were in the 70s this previous weekend. And now we're in the 40s and 50s for our dew points as we head into this weekend. So a good relief after we had a pretty long streak there of those sticky conditions, humidity, pretty high up there over the last couple of weeks. And that was just because of the atmospheric setup we saw. We had pretty far north ridging. They call it a heat dome that's set up, and that brought in moisture, brought in heat. That has sort of broken apart over the last couple of days, and that's why we've seen that return to dew points back in the 40s and 50s. Now looking at winds, again, they're mostly out of the northeast at 5 to, let's go 15 miles per hour. Just staying on the calmer side today, but enough that they're pushing a lot of that smoke out to the south. So hopefully it continues that trend. Winds aloft do look to sort of switch out of the west-northwest, so that's what's going to help bring in some more smoke as we get into tonight and tomorrow morning and then through a majority of our weekend. But winds should stay calm. Quickly, we'll look at our weekend planner here. Saturday looks to be a nice sunny day, calm winds. You do get up into the lower 80s by 3 to 4 p.m., so that's where our highs will be sitting. And then Sunday, again, up to the lower 80s, some more cloud cover in the afternoon, but a dry day with light and variable winds. But you're going to be dealing with wildfire smoke. It looks to be a hazy weekend with that wildfire smoke for both Saturday and Sunday. So quickly going to take a break. When I come back, we're going to take a look a little bit closer at the weekend, look at maybe some rain chances in the new week, and also a little bit of a preview of what's to come for the month of August, because, well, it is the first day of the month. So we have some of the averages that we could see and maybe what the Climate Prediction Center is forecasting for the month. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Remember, you can always send us any questions you want me to answer over on our Facebook page. Welcome back, everyone. Meteorologist Schaefer here again. Thank you for everyone for joining me here on our First Alert weather live stream, where again we live stream every day at 2 p.m. At least Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. From the First Alert digital desk. And we also have a few surprise streams on the weekend if we had to get some more weather out there. And obviously, we are always covering severe weather, especially at this desk. So if you have severe weather rolling in to your region, you want to figure out what's happening near your home, well, you can tune into our live streams where we try to cover all that weather that is going on. Now, we take a look at our lows for tonight. We're back into the 40s in areas to the north. Gladwin, West Branch, Holton Lake, it's up into the upper 40s for your lows tonight. So it is on the cooler side, more fall-like temperatures. I think some people are going to enjoy that. But you may need a few blankets if you're out camping out there through the night into tomorrow morning. As you move down to the south, you're starting to see more of those 50s appear. You got 55 in Saginaw, 55 in Bay City, 53 in Flint. Now, as we head into the weekend, your highs for Saturday, they are right at average for this time of year. It's sitting in those mid to lower 80s with Bay City at 82, Sandusky at 80, Bad Axe at 79. You have West Branch at 81, Owasso at 80. So a few areas just below average, but a pretty nice day. You're just going to be obviously fighting other factors like wildfire smoke. And then Sunday, it's another similar day with highs back in those mid to lower 80s, Midland 85, Gladwin 83, Standish at 83. Then down to the south, it's not much different. You're looking at 82, 83, 84 for your highs on Sunday. And I think we could see some areas jump a little bit warmer than that. You can't count out a degree or two, especially as we get some sunshine. And if winds can shift just a little bit more out of the south than the west, that could also factor in how much warmer we do get as we head in to our Sunday. And then looking at dew points, because I do know this is a factor for many people. We're not used to those sticky conditions that we've been seeing. And luckily, we continue to hold on to drier air through a majority of our weekend. This is Saturday, 6 p.m., dew points 40s and 50s, so definitely not feeling much in terms of humidity for Saturday. Sunday, you do see maybe a tad bit more moisture in the atmosphere with some dew points getting into the mid-50s, but nowhere near those extremes. Again, this is Sunday, 2 p.m., seeing dew points at 55 and 56. Then as you move towards 127, upper 40s and lower 50s. And then even into Monday, it's more of the same. The one thing is you do see a little bit of a rise into some areas seeing the 60s. So we haven't totally removed that moisture from the atmosphere as we head into the new week. But I do think it looks a little bit better compared to what we've been seeing over the last couple of weeks. Now, smoke has been the biggest, I think, complaint. It's been the biggest topic for the last couple of days and will most likely continue to be the topic as we head into our weekend. This is this afternoon. And again, a reminder, this is one of our models up into the atmosphere. So this doesn't indicate much smoke at the surface, or at least is an indication of the smoke you're going to see at the surface. But this is through the atmosphere, and I think it's always a good sign to see, hey, this is where the heaviest smoke is going to try to roll itself in, and that's going to be tonight past 6 p.m. Through midnight into 4 a.m. So as some of our early birds are waking up tomorrow for your weekend plans, you're going to notice that smoke aloft. At the surface is still the question. So as I pull our surface smoke map up real quick, what you're going to see is that smoke rolls in at the surface just a little bit later into the day on Saturday. So you wake up tomorrow morning, the sun is out, and you're going to notice that you don't see it much at the surface. Well, that's going to change. As we look at our near surface smoke, by the time we get to about noon is when that smoke's going to start to drop from aloft down to the surface. It's going to give you that hazy look as you're driving, as you look down the road, as you look out your back porch, as you look at maybe at your cameras. It's also going to give you that smell. I wouldn't be surprised we get reports through Saturday afternoon of, hey, we can smell that smoke out and about. So don't be surprised if you do see that. And again, models don't stretch out to Sunday, but when I look towards Saturday night into Sunday morning, this is midnight Saturday. We can see there's a large area of near surface smoke moving into our northern counties. So most likely they extend that air quality alert into the weekend and maybe into Monday. Wouldn't surprise me there. So as always, if you're someone that's sensitive to maybe higher air qualities, poor air qualities, I should say, make sure you're taking those precautions as you get out and about through our weekend. Now, in terms of rain, we don't see much here. Through the rest of our afternoon, just those popcorn clouds trying to develop. We get dry through the night with clear skies. We get into Saturday morning. This is 7 a.m. and you're still dry across the region. And we continue to see a similar trend to what we have today. Head into the afternoon and you have those sort of popcorn clouds, those pop-up clouds developing. Now, I will highlight real quickly that models have started to maybe show a very isolated rain chance north of the bay for Saturday afternoon. I think it's a small chance. I think there's probably a high likelihood you stay dry for 23 hours of the day. Don't be surprised though if you get a quick rain shower into the afternoon Saturday north of the bay. The rest of the region you'll be dry, and then Sunday looks to be another dry and sunny day. 7-day forecast beyond the weekend shows we hold on to 80s for Monday all the way through Thursday. Now there is a signal we could return back closer to the 90s by the end of next week. And another trend you're seeing is isolated rain chances. That will be on Monday, Tuesday through the midweek. They're small chances. I don't think it's going to be widespread. For now, it doesn't look like it'll be anything that ruins your day, and those chances may disappear as we get through the weekend. But for now, we do hold on to some isolated rain chances for Monday and Tuesday, maybe see an isolated thunderstorm on Wednesday and Thursday. Again, just as we warm up, if you want a good signal of when we could see thunderstorms, always go and look for warmer temperatures and higher dew points. And by Wednesday and Thursday, we could be looking at upper 80s and dew points back into the 60s. That gives us enough energy to see thunderstorms develop across the region. You obviously can get them on cooler temperatures and lower dew points, but you get a better fuel, a better chance when you get those warmer temperatures and higher dew points. Now, before I end the stream, I did want to take a look once again at the Climate Prediction Center outlooks for the month of August because, well, it's the first day of the month. And there was some updates, not so much in temperatures. They've held pretty strong that, including us here in Michigan, we're going to see above average temperatures for a vast majority of the states. You just had this area through sort of the heart of the United States, the Midwest, the Corn Belt states, that you're going to be having equal chances of being wetter or being above or below your average temperatures. Now, in terms of precipitation, the change that they updated last night into this morning, that wasn't for us. We're still showing equal chances of being below or above average when it comes to rainfall. But there are areas, if you have plans for heading out to Arizona, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, into western Texas, they're going to be below normal for their moisture levels. And then down to the south, into Florida, Georgia, South and North Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, being above normal for their precipitation amounts. So what do we see on average here in Michigan, or at least in the Saginaw, Flint, Bay City area when it comes to temperatures and moisture levels? Well, our average highs for the month of August are start at 82 and actually do start to drop. We'll be back to 78 by the end of the month. And then your rain totals are right around 3.15 to 3.85 inches. So you're definitely going to be looking at rain chances on and off throughout the month. We'll obviously be on top of our game here when it comes to rain. And we'll see how we end up playing out. Because again, this Climate Prediction Center has us being equal chances of being wetter or drier. So it's hard to say. Now, I know there's been some signal that the first and second week of August, full weeks I should say, could be seeing another heat dome set up. So if that setup ends up developing like some of the models are suggesting, then we could be seeing more of those warmer temperatures, more moisture in the atmosphere, and that would give us more rain chances like we saw over the last couple of weeks, giving us maybe higher amounts than that 3.15 and 3.85 we typically see in the month of August. But if we don't have any questions, which I don't see any, I want to thank everyone for joining me here on our First Alert Weather live stream. As always, you can catch us on Roku TV, on Apple TV, on your Fire Stick TV. You can catch us there. You can catch us on Facebook, on YouTube. You can also catch the replay. If you miss out on a stream, maybe you're at work or maybe you're out doing chores outside, you can catch our streams on YouTube and Facebook. The replays are always there to go just view later on. But I want to thank everyone for joining me here today. As always, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Friday into your weekend. Obviously, avoid the smoke if you can, but enjoy the nicer weather outside of that smoke that we do have as we head into your weekend. And we'll end it off here looking at Mount Pleasant at Central Michigan University. Have a wonderful Friday.
Thank you for joining us. Today's stream has been brought to you by Lockhart Roofing.